I'm from Brazil.
Brasil.
Yes.
Brasil.
And you follow, I'm here on behalf of a website called Fear the Walking Dead, Brazil, and you follow them on Twitter.
Do I?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
They're absolutely they're so happy. They asked me to thank you in person.
That's awesome.
Have you been to Brazil?
I haven't been to Brazil. I will go to Brazil at some point. And everyone I know that's Brazilian is amazing. And I live in Astoria, New York, which is where we film. Thank you, in Kaufman, Astoria, and there's so many Brazilians. And of course, I go into the little barbecue places, and they start talking to me in Brazilian and Portuguese, and I'm like, "Obrigado," and they're like, "Oh, okay," because they think I'm Brazilian. And I love that they think I'm Brazilian. I know. I get so excited. I'm like, I could be Brazilian. So now I'm like, I have to play a Brazilian. I have to get the Brazilian accent down.
Yeah, next time. Okay, you're excited.
Yeah.
But you're playing two characters so different from each other. Two huge, amazing
I know.
shows. How did it happen?
I have no idea, but I think that it's making up for all the years that I didn't work, and for all the years that I had to go back to bartending and serving and asking the universe and God, to tell me what else I could do with my life. Because there were many times where I was on my knees asking, what else can I do? You know, and I keep joking around that it's going to be all downhill from here, because when will I ever in my life again be in two things that are at the same time, that are so powerful and so different? It's unbelievable. You can't. If it happened in a story, you go, that's not real.
But that's amazing. That's just the beginning.
I love it.
How do you prepare for to play two different roles?
Well, I think the fact that I had Aleida Diaz is already very much alive in me. Yeah. So because we already did 3 seasons, and she's inside of me, that it was very important for me to bring Liza to life and find out everything I needed to know about Liza, and be honest and figure out and do research as to what it is to be a nurse and find those qualities about myself. I happen to be very nurturing in real life and very empathetic, and so I think those are really good qualities, you know. And then Lorenzo is so easy to love.
He's adorable.
That it was so easy for me to be mothering to him, and so there were a lot of things about Liza that I think are much closer to who I am than Aleida. You know,
I see.
And and so, but I did have to watch a little bit of Orange when I went back to shoot to find Aleida again, to find her cadences, you know,
because it's not easy.
No, to get her back into my body and speak the way she speaks. It took a little bit. I had to actually put. Thank goodness it's on Netflix. I could just watch it.
I love
just
it.
go right to my. Thank you. Just go right to a scene, and then say, if I say a couple things, her and she's back. I just have to repeat a couple of things.
Is that easy?
Yeah.
You're such a talented person. Oh, come on. But I saw the pilot, and I was watching the pilot. It was like the Fear of the Walking Dead. It's amazing. It's so different from The Walking Dead. I'm a huge fan, but I like that it's different.
Incredible. It starts off.
I love it. And it seems like that you have an okay relationship with your son.
Yes.
And with your ex-husband, you were friendly?
I think, as I said before, I think we are absolutely friendly. You know, the fact that I am so appreciative that I'm the one that broke up with him. That's our backstory. So it's not another scorned woman that is a victim. I am a huge fan of Liza. I think she's an incredible she does more than I do in my life. She's an incredibly powerful woman, and I think, you know, the things that she loved about Travis, her ex-husband, on the show are the things that she'll always love. And then the things that you don't, that never change, are still the things that are going to drive you crazy, like in real life, no? But I think so that when we end up under the same roof, we go right back to those dynamics. Do you know, the dynamics are always there. Do you know, they will always be there. You know someone for, 16, 20 years, they're there. You can act like you're different. They're always going to be there. Like when you go home and your dynamics with your parents and your siblings, it doesn't matter what you've accomplished in your life. You go right back to whatever that is.
It is so true. We never think about it. We never talk about it.
Never.
But it's there.
It's there.
So the apocalypse will bring you all together.
Absolutely, because he comes to talk to, to find his family. He has a kid with me, and in that we all end up together. And so I think it gets easier because we know what our strengths and weaknesses are.
Oh, interesting.
A little bit, yeah.
And how about your relationship with your son? What a mother do when an apocalypse?
Well, I'm really incredibly protective. I want to try to keep it away from because we don't know what's going on. So I don't know what it is, but I'm trying to keep him as innocent as possible and protect him. And so I think choices are made to protect him. And that's the most important thing. We end up in a situation where there's a lot of adults, and ultimately I let him have his feelings about his father. They have to work that out, but there's not enough time. Bigger things start happening quickly, where you don't have the luxury
thing and take the time to
analyze or work things out or have 20 fights. There's no time for that. It becomes about living or dying.
You guys don't know what's going on, but when you were on set watching those people characterized as zombies, walkers, how was it like? I mean, is it scary?
No, you're fascinated. You meet them before we shoot. So when you're outside of context, when you're not in the scene, you're sort of like, oh, this is amazing. Oh, this is so creepy, technically, and it looks so real. And so you're able to have a moment of being like a voyeur, and then you go into your character, and then there's I think what's scary is anything that has to do with the possibility of you dying. And it doesn't matter what that face looks like. If there is, the fear of your safety being taken away, your child, anything, just in just not knowing what it is, never mind putting a face to it. It's something coming to you that whatever it is there to take your life away.
And we are human beings.
We're here to live.
We know that we're going to die.
To survive. Yes, but life will continue.
Yes, it's amazing. I'm scared every time I see a zombie.
I know.
Were you prepared because the show is in LA and I live in LA, right next door, right across the street. And I was watching the pilot in my house. I was like, man, I never thought about a zombie apocalypse happening in LA.
There's no preparing yourself for any of it anywhere. I mean, and also because it's a big city, you're left feeling like anyone that we take for granted, oh, that person has mental issues. Oh, that person is a homeless person, that we just think that they're just normal. We put them under the scope of what we know to be normal now.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I start looking at people like they could be infected, they could be walkers. You cannot not start thinking that.
Oh my God.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
And so all of a sudden, people coming at you, and you're slightly more paranoid if they just slightly seem like they're not in what you recognize as normal.
It's not, because normal is not normal anymore.
Yeah.
I mean,
what's the new normal?
The concept of
Yeah.
normal changed. It's crazy. But speaking of life on set, you did shoot in LA, in East LA, right?
No, we shot in Vancouver. We shot the pilot. We shot here. We shot almost all of it in Vancouver. Then we came back to East LA, to El Sereno, to do all the exterior that was old and scenes that had to be LA that we could not fake. So we we cross-bordered 2 episodes and shot a bunch, but every single episode, every episode there was scenes old. They were not complete. So you always felt incomplete, which was an incredibly new experience. To feel like, this isn't complete to the next, with everything we old scenes, and you have to go back and go, what was going on at the time? It was a whole new, there were challenges in that.
I bet.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's different than shooting.
Yeah.
Oh, but you guys shot everything
Yeah,
in
no,
LA.
a lot of it
Just
was out of
exteriors.
context.
But how was the set? I'm pretty sure you guys get along, guys.
I am not lying when I tell you that I love these people. I knew Kim Dickens' work and Cliff Collins' work, and when I met them, I immediately fell in love. And Kim Dickens is one of my favorite new people, and I adore them. And the entire cast are just real people wanting to do the best work they can do, and there's no egos involved, and that is a breath of fresh air. You don't always get that.
We can see that. We do that all the time.
Yes.
So
You know. You see it.
We can just
Tell.
It's
You
in
can
the
tell.
air,
And so anyone that asks me about them, I am like, it's one of the most incredible casts. I am so privileged to be able to work with them and laugh a lot in between
It's not
takes and cry on set.
Patricia is very funny.
Oh my God.
Oh my God,
I love Patricia. I cannot tell you how much. Patricia will always be in my life. I know that. Ruben Blades will always be in my life.
I want to be her friend. I mean,
I know.
yeah,
They will always be in my life. I know, isn't she?
It's amazing. Is there any funny story that you can share with us? Something like really that you guys were shooting and just start cracking up?
Yeah, there's something that happens where there's somebody that's infected, and sometimes when you would do that, that's where you felt the genre. Most of the time you didn't, but there was a scene where there was someone that was infected, and then there's a line off of one of the actresses, and she says it, and it could be taken two different ways. It could mean two different things, the line.
Oh, okay.
She's talking about who someone isn't, and the way the line is in English, it could mean either that person isn't or that's not what they're like. And it was so hilarious that in the middle of a take, everyone around her started cracking up. We're like, we know that's not her. We know that's not who you're talking about. And we would laugh and laugh and laugh. There were moments where you just would laugh. There was a lot of laughter, a lot of hard work, but a lot of laughter to sort of, I think laughter is the thing you go to when you're dealing with a lot of stress and when you're living in something, regardless of what it is. In this world, it's walkers and infected, but it's a stress. It's an apocalypse. It's subjects about life and death and survival. The stress that's on you every day living in that is a lot. So I did a lot of laughing. I'm really fun. I become a big clown, so I take responsibility for a lot of the of the clowning around. And Kim and I we have similar humor, and so we were constantly like, it was great.
And I started this conversation talking about Fear the Walking Dead Brazil, but the Orange New Black Brazil website also told me
to tell you to follow it.
that they love you so much. So are you getting ready to go back on set for Orange?
I've already been shooting.
Oh, you've been shooting.
Yeah, I've already been shooting. We had a break for 10 days from Vancouver to LA. I was able to go to Orange and work on 2 episodes, and then I worked for 2 weeks here, and then I went back, and I'm in the middle of shooting an episode now. I go back Monday, shoot Tuesday.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Good crazy.
Yes, good crazy.
And you were a mom, and
and I'm not a mom, and I'm nothing that is. I am so.
How can you bring a mom alive? I don't have kids either, but how can you do that? Because you are...
I don't know. My friends have kids, and I'm very, as I said, I'm very nurturing. But the truth of the matter is that when I didn't know that Aleida Diaz was going to have 5 children. When I found out...
You didn't know?
I auditioned for a tiny little role that I knew I had a kid, and I was playing a woman in prison.
That's good.
And then when I saw that 5th episode, and I read it, I cannot lie, I have to be honest, where I was devastated because I judged her and I couldn't believe how bad of a mother. I was anxious, and I would have never signed up. If I would have known that, if I started on, they were like, you're going to play this mother with 5 women, and then I would have been devastated that I didn't, because I'm very protective of her. I don't say that she's a good mother because she's not, but I think she loves her children and that she's a victim of her environment. And I think you get to see that in this 3rd season. And I think the writers and Genji have created such dynamic, strong women and honest women that they bring the heart to her. And I think the humanity, despite on how much people hate her, how divisive she is, they've managed to bring a heart to her, and I would have been so upset if I would have. I don't know what I would be right now if I would have said no to that from the onset.
Yes.
If I would have known, which I think it's incredible that they didn't let us know.
which is good.
Oh my God!
Right?
The fact that imagine me sitting right here going, I said no to the character.
Yeah,
I would be like killing myself.
yourself.
I would be killing myself. Yeah.
How much did they tell you about Fear the Walking Dead before? About Liza and about the world? And
I spoke to the showrunner, and I knew that it was going to be a family dynamic. I knew the character that I was going to be playing, and I knew slightly where her story was going. So I did know that. So I was excited before I even did research on her that she seemed like such an incredibly strong woman, intelligent, strong woman, that I was really excited to play her. And also because she wasn't written Latina, I was just playing a woman in this world, and I was really a fan of the showrunner's work and of the director's work, and so before I even knew what an incredible thing it was actually going to be, I was already on board with just those factors.
so it was a different process when you were auditioning for Orange.
Yes, an
It was a
entirely
completely
different process. Yeah.
Which is good, but I'm
Yeah.
so glad that you said yes.
Oh my God! In an Orange, there was nothing in the pilot, right? I just slapped her, and so they gave me a scene. They wrote a scene for me to do, and so I knew so very little about the show. I'm so excited.
So
that
you know more about.
I knew
and you
more
know
about her. Yeah.
And how about the second season? Have you guys?
We don't know anything. They don't know. They haven't written it. They haven't written a word.
No, nothing so far. But did you watch The Walking Dead ever?
I did. I have friends on it, and so, but it didn't matter because our show is so. You go into something and you have to play that world and these characters. So there was nothing that we were going to have to learn from it that we were going to use. There was nothing to use in the story we're telling. Do you know?
So it doesn't make sense to have a crossover, right? At that point of the story, at that moment.
Well, I don't think, it's different times. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it will cross
Because
at some
everyone
point.
is asking about
I know.
crossover. It's
I
like,
have no idea. We're on different sides of the country.
and you can barely get from after an apocalypse. From
Yeah,
Beverly
who knows,
Hills to
right?
Santa
Of course,
Monica.
exactly. Exactly. How are you going to get country? I mean, that's going to be like episode 10. I mean, season 10.
10 or 15. You
Yeah.
have to walk
Yeah,
there,
that's a lot of
right?
walking.
So
A lot of surviving.
yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
thought.
Maybe you meet in the middle. I have no idea.
I don't know.
No
But
idea.
it's amazing. I'm so excited. I mean,
Thank you.
It's an amazing show. I'm sure that
That
a lot
pilot
of people
is unbelievable.
I'm not into the zombie world. A lot of my friends.
You don't have to
they're
be.
Gonna love this show.
I
Even my
think so
mom.
too.
I told her.
The minute that episode starts, that is the genius of the writer and the director. You are so, it is like a suspense horror that it could almost stand alone. If you didn't know what it was, it could stand alone.
Maybe it's his mind.
Yeah.
It's going on
You don't know.
in his
I know.
mind. Sorry, one last question. Oh yeah. So I don't have any questions. I like to talking to
Yes.
you so much. and
Oh
I
my
can
God,
spend-
absolutely. I know.
It was so much fun.
I could absolutely just spend
Everyone
hours.
is jealous of me.
Of course they are.
Here talking.
Don't be jealous. Love you, Brazil. Thank you for all your support.
Thank you so much.
Ciao.
sweetheart. Ciao. Ciao. Obrigada.
Obrigado.
Obrigada.